Welcome back. We're still with Professor Saidu Mohammed. Thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Well, let's now look at this, the solar eclipse tourism. That's something we understand is underway. So what really is the plan about this?
In the last few years, we've been very active in promoting solar eclipse. The issue is that these are a natural phenomenon, and we make sure that Nigerians are given the opportunity to enjoy it thoroughly, and we provide this information. When we do the necessary calculation, we inform them when it will happen, and children are brought in to look at these issues. Number one, we do that for following reasons. Number one, children are here. This year, close to about 2,000 children had the opportunity to come here to watch.
As against what we had a few years ago.
Yes, much more than what we had a few years ago. And not only that, it is good to educate them and get them into this business early enough. These are scientists, which the generations of the future to take over from us. So in the light of that, it's our responsibility to encourage them and catch them young. And number three, this year, the eclipse in Indonesia, for example, is total and will last for about 2 years. If you watch most of the international media, 3 weeks before that date, promotion was on, and people around the world were informed thoroughly about the extent of coverage in Indonesia. And because of that, hundreds of thousands of people left America and Europe to Indonesia. So you can see the number and what the impact will be on the economy. And not only that, it's always an opportunity for scientists also doing calculation, solar calculation, looking at the solar budget in terms of what should be. Most people are talking about energy mix, and we see solar as one possible way we can improve our power supply. A lot of people use this opportunity to do a number of calculations. Researchers, for example, while we were enjoying watching it, scientists were also doing other measurements. In the light of that, a lot of people were also in Indonesia. So we are looking at possibilities of much bigger eclipse in the future, where we can advertise even in CNN and work with the Tourism Corporation and the Ministry of Information, so that people who are interested all over the world can come to Nigeria. So in the light of that, you can see why we are interested, that from scientific perspective and from other interests that will improve our economy. And like we have always said, space technology is not about designing and building satellites alone, but it has become a global hub, for industrialization. It has become a proper desk to also give other information about information which ordinarily you may not have, like telling you when the next eclipse will be, giving you information about earthquake and other related disaster, and so on and so forth. So we can convert some of this disaster into a point of interest that will generate tourism, and therefore will have possible impact on our economy. You can imagine if 100,000 visitors visit Nigeria at this time. You know what that means to the hotels and the restaurants in this country. So these are issues we are looking at.
But this is an area really that I see a lot of interest, but maybe we don't have the facilities on ground to drive this.
Certainly, with efforts being made.
What efforts?
In terms of the 25-year roadmap, bringing in equipments and trying to improve our funding, we believe that Nigeria should progressively, be in a position to make itself ready for some of these things. One, we have the equipment to calculate to the last seconds when they will be, and we also believe Nigeria gradually having, good hotels for visitors, and we also believe that other facilities are also being put in place. And so, in the light of that, we will not necessarily have to wait until those things are ready before we start, such campaigns. We should start now and get Nigeria matured for some of these things that happens elsewhere.
Let's take this quickly. Telecom firms still import bandwidth when agencies like you exist. What's going on?
Ours is about designing and building satellites. And you recall in 2007 when the communication satellite was launched. And because we are not in a position to be doing that and still be marketing the satellite, we incorporated a company called Ecomsat Limited, which is which is still under the Ministry of Communication. The excess is that is a global model. If you look at the Antis Corporation of India, that is a commercial arm of the Indian Space Research Organization. And China Great Walls is also the commercial arm of the space group in China. And if you also look at, even in France, Kines established the French Sport that's responsible for satellite acquisition and various activities. It's in light of that we created Ecomsat Limited as a commercial arm so that most of the activities going on within the space program is marketed by Ecomsat Limited, and also be able afford us the opportunity of plowing back some of the spin-offs back in for research. And in addition to that, also be able to satisfy other sectoral needs. For example, we started on a pilot scale telemedicine in this country, where we linked a number of hospitals to the satellite. And not only that, the Open University was linked through teleeducation to that satellite. And not only that, at the beginning, when this agency when the project was started, we promised the stakeholders, based on their requirement, that dedicated transponders were going to be made available to the military and other security agencies to enable them discharge their national responsibilities. In the light of that, you see that for those of us who are engineers and scientists here, may not necessarily be good marketers. And because of that, an outfit completely was established to take that responsibility.
Do you hope that Ecomsat is under, or is it under NASDA?
We established it. It used to be under NASDA.
But it's no longer under NASDA?
It's no longer under NASDA.
Why is that?
That's the decision of government.
And is that supposed to be so?
From what I said, as a commercial arm, the arm cannot do without the body. And in the light of that, if you see the extent of developments in India, in China, and even European countries, certainly you believe that Ecomsat cannot exist outside the space agency for now. One, for any company of that scale to exist in Nigeria, they require a license from the Space Council. And for Ecomsat, it was established as a special purpose vehicle to deliver to Nigerians specific issues in agriculture, that you use that to educate farmers in the local communities as part of efforts to create national food security. And so if you look at what role this is expected to play as part of the integrated mission for sustainable development in new space and technology, if you ask me, the right place is coming back to NASA, because they are meant to work together. And that is what the law says. That the NASA Act 2010 says that NASA shall be the agency of government designing and building satellites, be it Earth observation satellite, be it communication satellite, scientific satellite, or navigation satellite.
Does the minister or the president share the same opinion with you?
That is already being handled at the highest level.
Do they share the same opinion with you?
It's being handled at the highest level, and the outcome will show their commitments. And I believe Mr. President is committed to this, and the Minister of Science and Technology has never hidden his interest to bring them under the same umbrella for the benefit of Nigerians. So
you're saying you have relayed this same message to the president?
That's correct.
And he happened to share the same opinion with you?
That is already being handled. It's not concluded yet, but I believe that Nigeria must endorse global practice.
Thank you very much, Professor Saidu Mohammed, for coming on the program.
Sister, it's a pleasure once again.
Thank you.